Hi, everybody. I know a lot of people who casually watch my show don't understand it or what our mission is or what we do here. So what we're doing here is trying to keep America's eye on the ball, because what the mainstream news media and both political parties want to do is take your eye off the ball. And what the ball is our political process and how it's been corrupted completely by money, right? Which is why we live in the richest country the world has ever seen. Record corporate profits, record Wall Street profits, and half the country's fucking poor. 50% of all wage earners earn less than $30,000. And people who do go to college and can get a decent job are buried under mountains of debt. So we have a bigger income disparity right now than we had during the Gilded Age. It's worse now. So what I'm trying to do is keep our eye on what the real problems that cause those things are. And the real problem is the corruption of our government by corporate money. We just saw it happen in California. We had a Democrat kill single payer. A Democrat, a guy who ran on single payer, who says he is supportive of single payer, and then when it comes time to pass single payer, he kills it. That's called corruption, and that's why he did it, because he's paid. The Democratic Party just installed a pharma lobbyist as their chairman, and they cheated to do it, just like they cheated Bernie out of the nomination. So they're corrupt cheaters, and they do it right out in the open. As Chris Hedges says, they steal right out in the open, and they don't care if you see it. That's what's going on. That's why Bill Clinton can take $500,000 from a Kremlin-related bank, and his wife signs off on 20% of the plutonium going to Russia, and then her foundation gets $142 million for the same thing. And everybody goes, what? What's the big deal? That's why when Barack Obama comes back into public life, he takes a $500,000 payday from a bank after he made sure the banks weren't regulated properly, and he bailed them out on the backs of the fucking working class. Because your house didn't get bailed out. Wall Street got bailed out. And this is all because of corruption. I just want to, in case you're a casual viewer, I'm trying to explain to you what this show is about and what the real problem is in America. The real problem isn't Trump. Trump is a symptom. And here's Dylan Ratigan, and he's going to lay it down for you even harsher than I just did. You ready?
The Democrats want you to believe that their party is, of course, wonderful and fabulous and wants to help to save the world and all the rest of this. And they want you to believe that the only problem with the American political system is the Republicans, and more importantly, the corruption of the American political system and the Republicans by the Russians. This, of course, would be the most horrible thing that could come from the current political situation. Because if we allow the Democratic Party to convince anybody, ridiculous they've even convinced themselves, that the primary issue with the American political process is Donald Trump and the Republicans, that validates their capacity to sustain themselves in a disgusting and corrupt fashion. The reality is, the only reason we have Donald Trump as our president and these horrendous Republicans is because of the unadulterated failure and corruption in the Democratic Party. Think about how bad, how unappealing, how offensive Barack Obama and ultimately Hillary Clinton had to be to the American population in order for them to even remotely begin to choose someone like Donald Trump as a better alternative. Think about how bad people have to view the level of corruption in the Democratic Party to think of Donald Trump as a remotely preferable alternative. Donald Trump is terrible. The Republicans are offensive beyond comprehension. But the solution is not the Democrats. The solution is a final terminal bypass of these two utterly corrupt political parties. And the Democrats are desperately fighting to try to convince you and everybody else that the only problem is the Republicans and Trump, and that they are quite actually perfect in their own way, when they are the ones who are the biggest contributors to the Trump campaign and the Trump problem.
Wow. You know, it's like I say to people whenever someone says, you know, I am shocked that we have Donald Trump. I say, really? I learned about cause and effect in the 4th grade.
Oh, Ron, bam. You smack people hard. So there you go. Who's the biggest so when instead of blaming Bernie Bros and Susan Sarandon and Jill Stein and jagoff podcasters, nightclub comedians, Maybe you blame the people in power who did this. The Democrats, Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, Tom Perez, Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, Donna Brazil. That's an award-winning journalist who isn't even allowed to do news anymore because he told the truth accidentally on MSNBC about the banks. That's an award-winning journalist telling you that. And his specialty, finance. So that's why we do what we do here. The fact that people would even entertain the idea that Donald Trump could be our president shows you how effed up everything is. Shows you how unbelievably corrupt, offensively corrupt the Democrats are, including Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton, probably especially. Barack Obama went to Flint, Michigan, took a drink out of a glass of water and left town. That's a corrupt motherfucker. Barack Obama said we're going to let Dapple play out for a few weeks. That's a corrupt motherfucker. Barack Obama didn't include a public option or a single nothing, and that's a corrupt. Barack Obama made the banks bigger, and then bailed them out by kicking homeowners out of their houses. That's a corrupt motherfucker. Barack Obama tried to pay for that by implementing austerity and cutting Social Security and Medicare. You don't think that's corrupt? So there it is. I mean, that's heavy-duty stuff. And they want you to think that the only thing you have to focus on is Donald Trump. That's the problem. No, the problem is exactly what he said. The corruption of both parties. The Democrats put Trump in power just as much as anybody else. Wow, Dylan Radigan. Thank God TYT hired that guy. So, yeah, so this is what happens, by the way. So what happens...
Democrats.
What happens when you tell the truth on MSNBC is now you have to do news reports from your office on an iPhone.
I kind of prefer the park, actually.
I prefer when he does.
I'm a little disappointed. I really dug the park.
I dug the park. I dig Dylan Radigan, though. Fantastic. Good work. Dylan Radigan, 24 years old. Not a lot of people know that. So there you go. Anything miserable?
Well, it is awful. It's awful to know that, you know, you've done a couple stories today that continues to highlight and examine the complete corruption of the Democratic Party.
I think people are waking up to the bigger problem, though. I think there is really a wariness amidst the status quo that is starting to really rumble. And that's how real change actually happens. Real change happens when people realize that a status quo is shot and isn't working anymore, and they're going to do something about it.
Right, because then you'll have Chuck Schumer come on the air and say, well, you know, by the summer, we'll have a plan. America.
Working on the draft right now. That's when
it.
I put my glasses back on, go to the Word document. I talk to normal folks at baseball games.
Right.
It's a prior video. You guys got to check it out.
So that's why we do what we do here at the Jimmy Dore Show. In case you don't know, send people this video. That's what's wrong. That's what we have to fix. He's basically saying the two-party system is screwed up, and we have to get another party. To me, that I'm reading in maybe a little bit, but it sounded like that's what he was saying.
I agree.
Yeah.
That's why I'm Draft Bernie. We got to get a third party, and you got to have a third party with a charismatic leader. How about we get the most popular politician in the country to start our third party? That's Draft Bernie. And I think Bernie's getting ready. Draft Bernie. Hey, the next live Jimmy Dore show is July 17th. That's right, July 17th. That's a Monday in Burbank, California. Get your tickets right down here or go to jimmydorecomedy.com. July 17th, Burbank, California, live Jimmy Dore show.